welcome to the grand finale of the DTM season 2022. We are here at the Hockenheimring. It's going to be super exciting. Fact is, we already had 7 amazing race weekends, and now here at the Hockenheimring, we will find out who will snatch the title. Fact is, there are 5 rivals, and any of the 5 can do it. Let's see who will be the champion of the DTM 2022.
This is it, the moment we've all been waiting for. Everything rests on this. The closest of championships, the hardest of fights.
Who will win
the championship?
Huge, huge pressure.
I'm going to be champion this year because I was the most brave.
They've been inseparable all year, but only one of them can take the title.
They're a bit the underdog spot, and so we can make full attack, full aggression, and I'm really looking forward.
The biggest race of their careers.
I'm going to be DTM champion because I'm the most experienced.
One final push.
We'll win the championship because we have all the ingredients.
Every move, every decision, every mistake will define the season.
It's generally always allowed to dream. Personally, I'm not a dreamer. I focus on what I can handle, on what I can do.
5 drivers, 5 rivals, all sharing one dream.
Who will win
the championship?
Who will come out on top?
It is getting more and more exciting. And fact is, the drivers are getting more and more tense because this is the grand finale. And obviously, race 1 is going to be so important for anyone to collect as many points as possible. And we will find out who's getting closest to the title. Check it out.
Well, this is what they're all fighting for, the DTM Championship crown of 2022. And here at Hockenheim, for the final race week end of the season, we could be on for the closest finish in DTM history. We've got absolutely no idea who is going to be crowned at the end of this weekend, but 2 thrilling races await after what was another very close qualifying session. Thomas Preining, the driver, that is on top form at the moment, moving up to 4th place in the championship after winning at the Red Bull Ring, but Sheldon van der Linde is still the championship leader, albeit by just 8 points now, coming into this penultimate race of the season. Mirko Bortolotti, René Rast amongst the other key title contenders coming into this weekend. René Rast, of course, already a 3-time champion. But it's Lucas Auer that had the edge in qualifying, picked up 3 points, and starts this race from pole position.
And I'm here with the man who's starting in pole position, Luki Auer. And Luki, you're second in the championship. It is so incredibly tight. So what are you going to do to collect as many points as possible and hopefully even win this so important race?
Push very hard and win it, as you said. This will be the best, but we have to see it. You know, in a race everything can happen, so let's see.
But I mean, this championship is just so extremely tight. And I mean, there are 5 rivals altogether, but 9 mathematically could still snatch a title. So at this point, it's the final. How do you feel?
Obviously a bit nervous. I think for everybody the pressure is on, but it's a nice feeling to have, and I'm ready for whatever comes.
All right, well, best of luck, Luki. Thank you so much. Here's your commentator.
So here we go then, 2 more races in what's been an absolutely thrilling season. Lucas Auer and Lukas Stolz on the front row of the grid. Mirko Bortolotti up there as well in 3rd. But the big news is that 3 drivers, including 2 of the championship contenders, have got late grid penalties, 10-place grid penalties for the championship leader Sheldon van der Linde, who drops from 6th down to 16th place. Thomas Preining drops from 8th down to 18th place, and Dennis Olsen to the back of the grid. It's all because of a tyre infringement on the cars before qualifying, due to the fact that they had tyres on the cars within an hour of the start of qualifying. So work to do for the championship leader now, with all of his rivals ahead of him. What can he do from the 8th row on the grid? Sheldon van der Linde, for the 2nd time in as many races, suffering a grid penalty after qualifying in the top 6. So there, a huge crowd gathered as we're about to go racing for the first time this weekend, round 15 of DTM 2022. Chris Hartley to talk you through the action, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of it. Right then, what can Lucas Auer do here? And Lukas Stolz, 6th in the championship, is not out of the running either. He starts alongside the 2 Mercedes, get the race underway as the lights go out. They charge down towards the first corner at Nordkerber, side by side between the top 2, and it's side by side for 3rd as well between Bortolotti and Wittmann. It's Lucas Auer from Lukas Stolz. Wittmann is coming good on the exit to the turn here to get himself maybe into 3rd place here. You've got Bortolotti trying to fend off Engel. You've got Rast in the mix as well as they come down into the braking zone, drop down to 2nd and filter their way through there, but Lucas Auer now in the lead. Marco Wittmann up through into second place then, and there's some contact further back with Hockenheimring sent crashing into the barriers, and his Mercedes goes backwards into the barrier with huge damage. Hopefully Arjun is okay, but that could be a safety car. But up front, the top two are broken clear. It's almost three abreast now in the battle for third place. Contact between Maro Engel and Kelvin van der Linde. Engel way out wide at the Spitzkehrer. More contact between van der Linde and then Lucas Stoltz. And there's a tyre flailing there, flown up into the air, scattering across all of the pack as they come through. We got one of the cars minus one of its tyres there from that contact down at the Spitzkehrer, and it looks like it's Kelvin van der Linde because he's dropped right down the order. Look, in the black and white number 3 Audi. Yes, he's struggling there with what looks like the right rear tyre, which is completely away from the wheel itself, and the yellow flags are coming out because the safety car is being deployed. This is because of Hockenheimring's car just off the side of the road on the way into the Parabolica. So a dramatic start already. We already had plenty to talk about with those grid penalties before the start of the race, and now there's even more going on right at the very beginning of this 55-minute plus 1 lap race. The safety car then will pick up Lucas Auer, who is going to lead. Here's a replay of what went on in the opening blows of this race. It was all pretty tidy on the way into turn 1. Good starts from both of the front row drivers. Keep an eye on Sheldon van der Linde there in the Schubert Motorsport BMW, red and yellow. Got a very good start there, whipping around the outside of Rolf in Eischen. Thomas Preining trying to follow him through as well. Hockenheimring made a good start. Look in the blue and white number 36 Mercedes, which would come to grief a couple of corners after this. Auer had to work hard to keep Stoltz at bay. Bortolotti thudded the inside curve on the way through turn 1, which unsettled the Lamborghini a bit and lost him a bit of exit speed. And that was what helped Marco Wittmann to ultimately get ahead of him and then go on the attack just after that for Lucas Stoltz. Here's an onboard replay from Thomas Preining trying to come from way down the order just behind that incident involving Hockenheimring, and so too was Sheldon van der Linde. So Miney got a tag sent into the barriers, but he span right across the bows of the championship leader and the driver fourth in the standings. Here's a replay into the hairpin of Engel around the outside of van der Linde. Then that second bit of contact is the one which damaged the right rear tyre. They can see it coming apart on Kelvin van der Linde's car after he made contact with Lucas Stoltz. Here's Engel trying to go around the outside, then coming out of the corner is where there was more contact. You see the tyre flies up into the air, hits one car, hits another, and this is a replay on board with Sheldon van der Linde trying to weave his way through all of this with his teammate Philip Eng just ahead. He comes out of the hairpin. There are the bits of rubber, and straight into the windscreen goes his brother's tyre. Well, it's great to see Hockenheimring walking away from what was a pretty hefty incident, so that's the key thing. We're going to get the race restarted then after Hockenheimring's car has been cleared. It's going to be the 2x2 Indy-style restart. We'll have to wait for the lights to go out before we get the race underway. And there we go with Lucas Auer versus Marco Wittmann on the run into the first corner, and Wittmann's got a really good start here in the BMW, whips around the outside of Lucas Auer, but there's contact behind. Philip Eng sent into a half spin. Rolf in Eischen is in the battle as well, and into the barrier in the Lamborghini in the background. That's a huge hit. I think Marius Zug was involved in that as well in his attempt to racing Audi. So huge impact there on the restart. But Marco Wittmann, while all that was going on, whipped around the outside of Lucas Auer to pick up the lead of the race. And there we've got, just behind this lead group, look, Sheldon van der Linde back up into the top 6 now, which is where he should have started in the first place. Bar for the grid penalty as Auer tries to come around the outside of Wittmann. Up the inside of both of them comes René Rast. Marco Bortolotti is in there as well. Lucas Stoltz just behind. It's a drag race up towards turn 7, but it's going to be Marco Wittmann that gets there first. Auer in second. Big effort from the 3-time champion René Rast. He's going to lose his third place now because Bortolotti up the inside. There's a huge crash behind. 2 crashes. We've got Porsches everywhere. Dennis Olsen, Thomas Preining, damage to Ricardo Feller's Audi. Massive shunt there in the middle of the pack, and surely the safety car is going to be deployed for a second time because there are cars everywhere on that run through turn 8 and 9. Oh, look at that. Well, it's a relief to see Thomas Preining walking away, and the red flags are going to come out. bodywork everywhere, and a Porsche engine on the track as well. There was this earlier incident which involved a couple of other drivers, including Rolf Vinayschen as well. And there is the engine, which has become detached completely from Dennis Olsen's car, leaking fluid onto the circuit. Absolutely massive shunt there, and no doubt about it, the race had to be stopped. David Schumacher was involved in that as well. He's missing the front of his Mercedes, but the news coming through is a huge relief that the drivers have all got out of the cars okay. You can see David Schumacher in the background. We've seen Thomas Preining already, and news that Dennis Olsen is also out of the car okay. The others continued on. There is Dennis, who was hobbling a bit, but they're all generally okay. They'll be taken for a medical checkup anyway. But a huge, huge moment that, and of course involving one of the key championship contenders, Thomas Preining. A replay of the start then. This is where Marco Wittmann got around the outside of Lucas Hauer. There was the contact which involved Philipp Eng, Maxi Buch, David Schumacher were all around that as well. And then there was damage to Rolf Vinayschen's Lamborghini, which was missing a wheel or part of the suspension, so he couldn't control the car, and then was collected by Marius Sugg as he tried to get going again here. And there, a massive collision, and right behind it was Michael Grenier, the Canadian, who I think had damage to the front of his Mercedes as well. Just couldn't avoid the spinning Lamborghini. Completely sideways there was Philipp Eng, coming together with Buch. Vinayschen was nothing to do with it really, but it was on the outside of it all. He got tagged there, his front left is broken. And there, just trying to get around him and trying to avoid him, but with no time to react, was Marius Sugg. And then this massive moment, look back behind the lead group of 8 or so drivers, and it was Schumacher and Preining coming together, and then a separate incident almost at exactly the same time involving Ricardo Feller and Dennis Olsen, and flames spitting from the broken fuel tank and departed engine of Dennis Olsen's Porsche. Here we go, yeah, Feller clipping the back of Olsen's Porsche right into the barriers, and then a ball of flames, a massive impact, and everybody else trying to avoid it. And there was the Schumacher Preining coming together, which was a huge shunt in itself. Front of the car completely destroyed on the Winward Mercedes, and 3/4 of the car just completely obliterated in terms of Tommy Preining's Porsche. Absolutely incredible shunt. I don't think I've ever seen a big one like that before, and it's a massive testament to the strength and design of these cars, the safety of these cars, that the drivers have been able to walk away from that. There's Michael Grenier, and in the background Maro Engel watching the replays. This is what it looked like from an onboard point of view, and that was on board with Nick Cassidy, who was hit by the spinning Porsche of Dennis Olsen as it came back onto the track. On board with Thomas Preining, that was the contact with Schumacher, head on into the barrier. That was absolutely massive impact. But again, the first one we saw getting out of the car was Thomas Preining. Different angle on board with Thomas then. Let's have a look at this. Schumacher to the left. There's the contact. Just a passenger, an absolute passenger. Took his hands off the wheel because he knew as soon as the front of that car hit that wheel would whip around, and if you don't take your hands off the wheel, you're going to break your thumbs. So he reacted very well to that, but that was massive. Gets out of the car, but slightly staggered, as you can imagine. And we get another replay from what is just an horrific crash for Dennis Olsen as well. At huge speed there on the way into the barrier. And the engine, I've never seen that before, completely detached from the car. And that's great to see the camaraderie. Dennis Olsen on the left, Thomas Preining on the right of the picture. Just relieved one another they've got out of that. So the marshals now with a lot of clearing up work to do with this red flag out. And we're going to be minus a few cars. And will we see them again for the rest of the weekend? Possibly not for Dennis Olsen, I'm afraid, nor for Thomas Preining.
To be honest, I didn't see the replay yet or anything properly, so I have no idea actually what really happened. I think obviously we touched. It resulted in a very big crash, and the most important thing is that all of the drivers are kind of okay at least. I think they're still checking some, but for sure nothing terrible happened, so this is positive. The cars obviously look a bit worse for wear, and let's see how many there are still on the grid tomorrow.
So we're ready for the restart then after the red flag. It's going to be a single file restart. There's not going to be 2 laps added on, so it will still be a 55-minute plus 1 lap race distance. And Lucas Auer will lead them away. They've gone back to the running order before the red flags happened. So Marco Wittmann back down to 2nd place. And Sheldon van der Linde, who climbed up to 6th, has got a bit more work to do again because he's dropped back to 8th place. René Rast there in 3rd position. So the driver 2nd in the championship leads the race. The driver 3rd in the championship is 3rd. The driver 5th in the championship, Mirko Bortolotti, is just behind the pair of them. And at the back of the group, currently running in 8th place, is this man, Sheldon van der Linde. Right, the mandatory pit stops. Kelvin's in for the 2nd time. He had to repair the tyre on his car earlier on. So he comes in. Lucas Stolz is going to get out before him. And Lucas Stolz, who was really quick yesterday in free practice, carried that on in qualifying. A really good stop from the HRT squad at 6.9 seconds. So he'll be the leading pit stopper. Gets out ahead of Maxi Goetz, who's struggled with the car this weekend so far. The reigning champion, and has dropped out of contention now after qualifying. He can't mathematically win the title anymore. And then Kelvin van der Linde is going to be the next one out of the pits. A replay of, this is Sheldon van der Linde getting past Philipp Eng, his Schubert Motorsport teammate. And the pair of them could help Schubert Motorsport to wrap up the team's title here in this first race of the weekend, in their first season of DTM, as René Rast is the first of the championship contenders to come in and make his mandatory pit stop. Axi Buch is in the background as well, and, well, it wasn't a great pit stop for René Rast, 9.1 seconds, so Lucas Stolz is maybe going to get ahead of him here, having already done his stop to maintain his advantage as the leading pit stopper in the yellow HRT Mercedes. I don't think René's going to be able to stop him coming through, and sure enough, on the way to turn 2, Lucas Stolz goes down the inside of the 3-time champion, who's wrapped up 2 of his championship titles in the very last race of the season here at Hockenheim. So you'll not be fazed by any of this. He's been here before, René Rast, and he's succeeded as well, looking to equal Bernd Schneider's record of 4 championship titles. Auer and Wittmann remain at the head of the field, and Auer comes in to make what's going to be a huge pit stop now for the team. And Marco Wittmann has followed him in as well. Now, we also had a very early pit stop just off the back of the restart lap. And coming in was Dev Gore. So Dev Gore has come in and made his stop. These are the first of the front runners to come in. And Lucas Auer away. That looked pretty tidy. Should just stay ahead of Marco Wittmann. Great stop, though, from Volkenhorst. They've done a 6.9 second stop as well. That's excellent. Here's Lucas Stolz coming over the start-finish line, though. So this is to be the net leader. It should still be Auer and Wittmann ahead. Stolz is going to be a net 3rd, but it'll get much closer to them by the time they get down to the hairpin. Rast falling behind Lucas Stolz due to a slightly slower pit stop. So these effectively the top 4, but you've also got to factor in Mirko Bortolotti, who's going to be somewhere around them once he makes his stop, or at least he should be. Of course, they've done quite a few laps, but lots of them behind the safety car, and the tyres haven't really been used up yet, so Bortolotti could go late on in, still have good tyres at the end of this first stint. So Marco Wittmann trying, but failing to find a way past Lucas Auer during this pit stop phase. Then Stolz. And then we've got, coming into the pits, Sheldon van der Linde. Right, what can the team do? It's all been going pretty well for him so far. He's got through all the carnage after the frustration of that grid drop of 10 places. Away he goes. That's decent. It's not spectacular, but it's decent for Sheldon. So Auer and Wittmann will come through. I think Stolz will come through. He's going to be somewhere alongside René Rast, though, the driver 3rd in the championship standings. He comes out just in front of the Audi. But the Audi's got its tyres up to temperature. Lucas Auer's got the bonus point at the moment for the fastest lap of the race. That could be crucial at the end of the season. Out wide on the cold tyres goes Sheldon van der Linde, and through with the onboard camera comes René Rast to gain that position. But Sheldon will have slightly better tyres at the end of the race. And he has been the quicker of the 2. René's been struggling a bit with the car so far this weekend. Replay of the move. As Sheldon van der Linde now gets back down the inside of René Rast. Bortolotti next into the pits. Grasser Racing Team. They've had 4 victories in other championships at this circuit. What can they do for their man, the Italian, looking for his first win of the season? Oh, it's a bit sticky at the back. It's not the fastest of pit stops, this. Bortolotti let down off the jacks, but it's 13.5 seconds. So he's lost 4.5 seconds compared to an average pit stop there. And that's going to cost him potentially a podium place. He's going to have to really go like the wind in the final 17 minutes or so of this race. He's going to come back out behind Sheldon van der Linde and René Rast, and maybe behind Philipp Eng, which he could do with that, because Philipp is Sheldon van der Linde's teammate. He is going to be behind Philipp Eng. That's a real nightmare then for Mirko Bortolotti and Gottfried Grasser's team, losing all that crucial time in the pit stop. It hadn't been looking oh so good for him. Now it's an uphill battle for the Italian. And look at this, Sheldon van der Linde, having got back ahead of René Rast pretty quickly, he's now right back onto the tail of Lukas Stolz. He's caught him up rapidly. As you can see, the chase has been on, and he's not hanging around here, pulling around the outside of Parabolica, looking to get up the inside line for the Spitzkehrer hairpin. He's done it already, under braking. He's got down the insiders right in front. Look, we've got Alessio De Leda, who's yet to make his pit stop, pulling off with a problem in one of the Grasser Racing team run Lamborghinis. So Sheldon van der Linde with a critical move. Dev Gore leads. His pit stop is going to be under investigation, but not until after the race. So I'll take it that he's the leader for now. Our second, Wittmann third, Sheldon van der Linde in fourth place. And here's the battle for fifth place coming into the hairpin. Look at that, Philipp Eng down the inside of two, down the inside of Rast, down the inside of Stolz. Stolz gets out of the way, Rast gets past the pair of them on the way out of the corner. And, well, Lukas Stolz got a bit mugged there because he's ended up losing 2 places. Philipp Eng gains one, loses one. And we've got Mirko Bortolotti, who's absolutely flying at the moment, right onto the tail of Nico Müller, trying to get past him. Nico still with a slim mathematical chance coming into this race of winning the championship for the first time, the double championship runner-up. 9 minutes to go in the race. Mirko Bortolotti all over the team Rosberg Audi. He's going to have a big go here, but it's going to have to be around the outside at the hairpin to try and cut back up the inside on the way out of the turn. He goes up through the gears. Right-hander coming up at turn 7. He's got his foot in the door. He's absolutely going to go for this. Utter commitment required. Down the inside goes Mirko Bortolotti, and he gets ahead of Nico Müller. As long as he can slow the car down in time through turn 8, which he just about does. So critical move that for Bortolotti to put himself up to 8th place and double his points from 2 up to 4 points now. Bortolotti continues to march on onto the tail of Lukas Stolz now, and he's much, much quicker than the Mercedes at this stage of the race. Here we go, through the inside at the Parabolica. It's going to be the outside for the next turn. Is he going to get through there? Yes, around the outside, and that's another place gain for Mirko Bortolotti. And up ahead, you've got Philipp Eng, and then he's got René Rast, 5th and 6th. Dev Gore has been struggling to keep this battle behind, and Lucas Auer and Marco Wittmann and Sheldon van der Linde have all now caught him up. And so this is going to go right down to the final stages, but he's run wide on the way to the hairpin, and Dev Gore's going to give up the lead of the race here to Lucas Auer. Gets past him on the way out of the corner. So Lucas Auer goes from 2nd to 1st. That means 25 points instead of 18 points. He's got the potentially fastest lap point as well at the moment. He's going to move into the championship lead, but look at Sheldon van der Linde down the inside of Marco Wittmann with a brilliant overtake. That was sheer commitment from the South African, and it could be crucial. And now he's going to have a go at Dev Gore. So Sheldon van der Linde on the attack here to try and get 2nd place, to get 18 points for 2nd instead of 15 for 3rd. Around the outside, contact between the BMW and the Audi, but van der Linde is taking no prisoners, and through he goes, and up into 2nd place. And then Marco Wittmann is going to try and push Dev Gore completely off the podium, which he does. The BMW out-accelerates the Audi, and they're all through. Here we go then, almost home and dry for a 12th career victory in the DTM and a 2nd win of the season, and maybe, just maybe, the biggest win of his career. Lucas Auer takes the checkered flag, van der Linde in 2nd, and Wittmann is going to come home 3rd.
Yes, baby. Yes.
So, results of what was an explosive race. Lucas Auer, Sheldon van der Linde, remember, from 16th on the grid, and Marco Wittmann at the top 3. Dev Gore provisionally in 4th place from René Rast in 5th position. Well, an awful lot to dissect from what was a dramatic first race of the weekend. Well, Shelton van der Linde celebrates like he's taken a victory. It must feel like that from all the way back in 16th spot on the grid, but taking to the top of the car and taking a bow is the one driver that beat him in that race, Lucas Auer. Well, Shelton van der Linde and Philipp Eng both have done enough to take the team's championship title in their first season for Schubert Motorsport. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Shelton van der Linde.
Yeah, honestly, I think today was really the turnaround for us. It started with a nightmare in the morning where we got the penalty of 10 places. I mean, honestly, man, the car was amazing in the second stint after my pit stop. The team did an amazing job in the pit stop as well. So today I said to the guys as well on the radio, first of all, we won the team championship as well, which is amazing. But second of all, I just said to the guys, never give up, because you never know what can happen in this championship. We've seen it so many times this year. Yeah, now we're back in the fight.
So the trophy presentations here, and a huge, huge smile on the face of Lucas Auer. He kisses the trophy, he holds it aloft, gives the thumbs up, and the crowd cheer him. Right then, the points table with just one race to go. It is now just 2 points the gap at the top of the championship table. Let's hear now from René Rast and Mirko Bortolotti.
Quite frustrating. You drive one of the best races of your career, and yeah, the maximum is P4.
Bittersweet day for us. I think we had the potential today to win the race. We had a perfect race, a great pace and strategy. Everything went really well until the pit stop, which unfortunately went completely wrong and cost us at the end of the race.
Mathematically, it's still possible, but obviously we need a miracle. We cannot fight for it by ourselves. So, yeah, it's very difficult.
I think the championship is done now. I think we would have had a chance with a strong result. We were doing great until the pit stop. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way it should have gone, and so now the chance is gone.
Lucas Auer with a much-deserved, a much-needed second win of the season. Let's hear from him now as he moves to within 2 points of the championship lead.
I was hoping to see a big smile on your face, but I guess it was just so emotional, right?
It was also so tough because first of all, I'm happy that all the crashes, I think everybody is quite okay. But for me, it was just a tough race. Really hard fights with Marco and with Dave at the end, but it worked out, so I'm very happy.
So the penultimate podium presentation of the season. Lucas Auer, Shelton van der Linde are both there, and they're both going to be there in the fight for the 2022 title. It's a 4-horse race now, but these two are almost inseparable. The champagne is sprayed, they'll enjoy the moment, but it's going to be back to work on Sunday for race 2, round 16 of the championship, and what will be the title decider.
It's the final countdown. Today we will find out who will be the DTM champion 2022. Will it be Shelton van der Linde, or will it be Lucas Auer? Or maybe even one of the other rivals? We will find out today. Fact is, we've never had an Austrian and we've never had a South African winning the title. And after yesterday's race, which was so dramatic, one thing is for sure, today is going to be a super exciting race. So let's do it. Here's the final race of the DTM season 2022.
Well, after more than 6 months of racing, visits to 5 countries, 10 different winners, it all boils down to this, just a couple of points at the top of the championship table. Mirko Bortolotti, the winner of the Auto Hero Fastest Lap Award with the most fastest laps of the season, but he has now fallen out of the championship fight. It's between René Rast, Lucas Auer, and of course the championship leader going into this final race of the season, Shelton van der Linde. Let's hear first up then from René Rast.
René, you're the third in the championship. You're 18 points behind Shelton van der Linde, the leader. And this morning, you were kind of wishing for a miracle for the qualifying. It's kind of what you got, because you're starting in pole position and your rivals are all the way in the back. So what are you going to make out of it? Take the title home?
That's the ultimate goal, obviously. I mean, we are on pole. We have to win the race. We know that. It's not going to be easy, but we give it all, try our best, and the rest is not on our hands.
And here, being at the Hockenheimring, sunshine, everything, isn't this the perfect kind of picture for the final race?
It is, definitely. Hockenheim never disappoints with the racing, but also with the weather. So obviously, for the fans, it's great. For us, it's cool. For my last race with Audi, it's nice. So, yeah, good.
All right, René, best of luck. Thank you so much. And here's your commentator.
So then this is the way the grid shapes up, with René Rast securing his 4th pole position of the year, Clement Schmidt with his best qualifying starts on the front row of the grid, Marius Sugg with his best qualifying so far in his first season of the championship lines up 3rd, Marco Wittmann in 4th, Sheldon van der Linde, the championship leader, is there in 5th place on the grid, and Lucas Auer 11th on the grid after the session was red flagged when Felipe Fraga crashed his Ferrari after he had set the fastest time of the session. So Auer with work to do and with lots of success ballast on board the car. After winning the race yesterday, he carries 25 kilograms of success ballast. But the Austrian will never give up, and it'll be well worth watching him try to fight his way through the field. Let's hear from him now.
Luki Auer is already getting ready, obviously, for the race of your lifetime, probably. I mean, you're 2 points behind Sheldon, so anything here is possible. You got a smile on your face, you're always positive, so good vibes, good feeling?
Yeah, after qualifying, not so, but it will be a long race, a tough race, and let's see what's possible.
So this is how the championship shapes up. 2 points between Sheldon van der Linde and Lucas Auer. René Rast is 18 behind after getting pole position and the 3 championship points that came with that. He needs to finish in the top 2 to have any chance of winning the race. But if Sheldon van der Linde finishes in the top 6, he'll secure the title. Let's hear now then from the points leader.
Obviously, very excited for the race. Looking forward to it. Like you said, it's very tight at the front, so I really need to have a good race today. It's super important. Today is obviously the last race of the championship, and yeah, my rival's in front of me and behind me, so I'm kind of sandwiched in the middle. I have a pretty clear job. I need to be in the points today to avoid René winning, and René needs to win. Luki needs to catch me, so we all have our own targets, and I would say mine is probably the most comfortable position to be in today.
So the scene is set then in the 16th and final race of DTM 2022. Who is going to come out on top? 55 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. A slightly depleted field of 19 cars will take the start. All the drivers involved in the incidents yesterday are okay, but several cars are missing. René Rast then, can he claim a record equaling 4th championship title? He'll go for the race win, but so will others around him as the race gets underway. And it's side by side with Clement Schmidt and then Marco Wittmann, who goes all the way around the outside of everybody to go from 4th place all the way into the lead of the race. René Rast is in 2nd, but he's got Clement Schmidt breathing down his neck in the first of the Lamborghinis in the race. He got some quick drivers to watch coming from the back of the field as well, like Ricardo Feller and Kelvin van der Linde. It's been a pretty decent start for Sheldon van der Linde, who just needs to try and stay out of trouble here. He's dropped a place from 5th down to 6th, but he's still doing okay for now. Lucas Auer has lost a place as well off the start of this race from 11th down to 12th, but he started to go back on the attack as they go down into the hairpin for the first time at Spitzkehre, with Marco Wittmann leading René Rast and Clement Schmidt. Devgor with a great start has found himself up into the top 5 as well. He's got ahead of Marius Sugg now for 4th place, and then it's Sheldon van der Linde. Then Lucas Auer, surrounded by Mercedes, trying to battle up the order, and we got damage to the sole remaining Porsche in the race, which is Engelhardt, who's got some damage and might be headed back for the pit, so we might be down another driver in this race. But an absolutely demon start to this one for Marco Wittmann, who is looking for his first win since the middle of last season. 2014-2016 champion said yesterday after being on the podium, we've got the car to win here and I'm going to go for the race win. That's exactly what he's doing. And look at this, Marius Sugg in the number 66 Attempto Racing Audi side by side with Devgor, who got 4th place in yesterday's race, and they're still neck and neck as they go through the Sud curve at the end of the first lap. Marius Sugg has got his nose in front, but he's forced out wide, and Sheldon van der Linde is behind the pair of them. Is he going to get up the inside of both of the Audis? It's 3 abreast on the way into the corner, and he's done it. So Sheldon van der Linde gifted 2 places there. He'll take that, thank you very much, and he gets himself up to 4th place. Ideal start then for him in this race. The top 6 should do it if he finishes ahead of Auer. Even if Rast wins the race, even if Rast wins the race and gets the fastest lap, he's where he needs to be. So battle's still raging on just behind, and Nico Mullenau draws alongside his teammate Devgor. Nico in the number 51 car coming back from a 2-place grid penalty after having an extra Joker set of tyres, or extra Joker tyre on his car. So he's come from 7th on the grid, lost a bit of time at the start of the race, but it's all bunched up, isn't it, behind Sheldon van der Linde from 7th downwards. And Lucas Auer has got himself back in the fight as well, but out of the fight, I'm afraid, is our outgoing champion, Maxi Gotz. So it looks like Another retirement from this race as the drivers make their way through turn 8 now. Maro Engel going out wide there. And the sole remaining bright pink BWT-backed Mercedes, just behind Ricardo Feller, who's made a good start to the race from the back of the field. Ricardo in the blue Audi is up to 11th place now. Kelvin van der Linde is on the attack as well, and he goes out the inside here of Maro Engel, squeezes through and gets the job done with a nice move at the Mobile 1 curve. Lucas Auer then heading that group of cars on the way through the Sachs curve as we get a replay of the start. Look at the start for Marco Wittmann in the Volkenhorst BMW green and white. It was magnificent. Here's the onboard perspective from the championship leader. Look at the BMW to the left of the picture go around the outside. That was total commitment from Marco Wittmann. Thudding over the curb and losing a bit of ground out of the corner, as you saw from the onboard there, was Sheldon van der Linde. And there is the cause of the damage, that contact with the Porsche of Christian Engelhardt now missing its front right tyre. Not been a good weekend for the Porsche brand, I'm afraid, as Marco Wittmann leads René Rast and Clement Schmidt into the hairpin. The top three are well clear. And then we've got Sheldon van der Linde and Marius Sugg as a pair, 4th and 5th. And Marius pushing on, and then Lucas Auer under pressure here from Nico Muller as they make their way up towards turn 7, and Muller's got back ahead of him now in the 51 car with better acceleration. There's a bit more BOP ballast on the Mercedes today, another 5 kilograms, plus Lucas has got 25 kilograms of success ballast for winning race 1, so his car is 30 kg heavier than it was yesterday, and he could have done with qualifying well. He didn't get the chance, as did a lot of other drivers, when the session was cut short with just over 2 minutes to go after that red flag. So Sheldon van der Linde, mirrors full of Marius Sugg at the moment, just to keep him on his toes. Drama in the background, and that's Dev Gore, I think, in the Team Rosberg Audi. Having made such a good start to the race, he got himself up to 4th. He was 4th in the race yesterday. And that's the reason why contact with Lukas Stolz. And a problem here for Philipp Eng as well. And he's going to pull off and out of the race, I'm afraid, having helped Schubert to the team's title yesterday, as Marius Sugg now gets at the inside of Sheldon van der Linde and then accelerates him coming out of the hairpin. Sheldon has got to think championship, though. He's got to think points, and he won't take any unnecessary risks, but a nice move nonetheless from the 19-year-old former Italian GT racer. Get a replay here, and all the way around for Mirko Bortolotti. Right, the mandatory pit stops begin then, and Sheldon van der Linde is in. Lucas Auer is in. The top 2 in the championship in at the same time. A race between the pit crews. Good stop for Winward, 7.5, slightly quicker than for Sheldon van der Linde. But they didn't need to rush. They just needed to make sure they did everything right. And he will still be well clear of Auer. There was a few seconds between them before the pit stop window opened. In between them is going to be Dev Gore. He's trying to come back up the order, having got himself out of the gravel trap. So 12th place for now. Wittmann, Rast and Schmidt as the top 3, and Schmidt is in. So from that lead group, he comes in now to make his mandatory stop. The Grasser Racing team struggled with the pit stop for Mirko Bortolotti yesterday. It cost him time, but this one looks pretty good. And away he is released. And so too, in the background, Marius Sugg lights up the tyres. Don't get the time, but they both look like pretty decent pit stops. So Schmidt and Sugg released back out onto the circuit. And they're about to come through the turn. You'll see the BMW of the championship leader is going to slot in between them. So he's going to be back ahead of Marius Sugg quite comfortably. And Marius has still got to get his tyres up to temperature. Then we got Lucas Auer and Kelvin van der Linde, who've had relatively early pit stops as well. René Rast, the next one into the pits then. Crucial this. He's been stuck behind Marco Wittmann. He couldn't find a way through. They're going to try and get past the 2-time champion with a better pit stop strategy here. It's a pretty decent pit stop. It's not amazing, but it's okay. So Clement Schmidt coming over the start-finish line. René Rast is comfortably going to be clear of him and become the leading pit stopper, with Sheldon van der Linde in the background, just about to come out of the Nordkurve at turn 1. It's a bit more room to breathe, with a few less cars in this race than we normally have. It's always a packed DTM grid, and Lucas Auer with Kelvin van der Linde right behind him. Lucas managed to keep Kelvin behind him as he came out of the pits, which was crucial. And in now comes Marco Wittmann. So from the lead of the race, in he comes, adhering to the 60 kilometres per hour speed limit. Falkenhorst to wait. They had some pretty good pit stops this weekend, the team. Just got to hold their nerve here and get him through this one. But where will he be in relation to René Rast when he comes out? And he goes, 8 seconds. It's a slightly quicker pit stop than for Abt Sportsline and René Rast, but what were the in and out laps like? And René, of course, has got his tyres up to temperature. Here he whizzes then around the Nord Curve. This effectively becomes for the lead of the race once all the pit stops sort themselves out. And Marco Wittmann is going to stay ahead. The gap is about the same as it was, but René Rast, his tyres up to temperature. It'll take half a lap or more for the BMW to get its tyres working at full capacity. And so they head now towards Paraboliki, which normally they take at 5th gear, heading up to 6th gear and approaching 265 kilometres an hour. Not easy when your tyres are not yet up to speed. Marco Wittmann, though, is just going to get to the hairpin just ahead of René Rast, but René's going to try and get up the inside of him as they come out of the corner. Absolutely wing mirror to wing mirror now. Right-hander coming up into turn 7. René Rast is going to go for it here to try and get the net lead of the race. He's got his nose in front, but there's a left-hander coming up, and Marco Wittmann will go back down the inside. There'll be contact. They'll both go out wide, and then neither of them want to give up. They're still side by side. René Rast the inside for now, but Marco Wittmann keeps his foot in the BMW. Neither giving way. They've got 5 championship titles between them. This is fantastic, but it's René Rast that gets through. And all that battling has allowed Clement Schmidt to join back onto the group of 3 in the Lamborghini. What a battle that was. Total determination. René Rast knew it was his only chance. He knows he's realistically got to win the race to have any chance of taking a 4th championship title. What a battle we were treated to there for several corners. Rast with his nose in front of Marco Wittmann. Oh no, this is René Rast running wide through Parabolika, taking out the advertising hoarding, and now on the back foot on the way down into the hairpin. And this is Marco Wittmann getting past him and retaking that position. You just get the sense that the Audi hasn't quite got the speed, and René is driving beyond the limits just to try and have a chance. So he's back behind Marco Wittmann, and there's a problem for Clement Schmidt, and it's a right rear puncture. Oh no, the Austrian driver who's been so good in this race, hanging on to 2 multiple champions, but the dreams of a first podium in the DTM have gone up in smoke. Marco Wittmann continues to pull away from René Rast. Shelton van der Linde in 3rd place. More than enough, as you can see from the graphic, to seal the championship title. Lucas Auer struggling with the car, and the weight on the car is back in 7th spot. However, Shelton van der Linde has got Marius Sugg started to catch him. Replay here over the curbs in the super slow-mo. Just got to look after the car now and bring it home to the finish, and he will be the 2022 champion. It's the final lap of the race. Just a couple of minutes away from glory, but a bit of stress coming here because Marius Sugg is catching up. He wants his first podium. Shelton van der Linde has to stay on it. Marco Wittmann has been on it all the way through the weekend. 3rd yesterday. He's going to get his first win of the 2022 season. Marco Wittmann has been absolutely fantastic. René Rast has done his best, but ultimately not quite having the pace to be able to hang on to him. He's given it his all in his final race for Audi, and they're 3rd and 4th, almost nose to tail now, as out of the Sachs curve for the final time, into the Sud curve for one more turn of the wheel, comes Marco Wittmann. To the applause of the crowd, he is going to take the victory in the final race of the 2022 season. Marco Wittmann wins. 2nd place is going to go to René Rast. But the biggest cheer of all is going to go to the driver in 3rd place, because Shelton van der Linde is going to be the champion of 2022.
Oh, yes, baby. Oh, my God, we did it.
Wow. What a season. 11 different winners. Has there ever been a more competitive year? And the first ever South African DTM champion.
Are we champions or not, mate? You haven't replied. Yes, you are the champion. P3. Wittmann win. Ras 2. You are P3. You are DTM champion.
Poor old Sheldon stressing out a bit there on the radio. Please, can you confirm I'm the champion? I think I am. Yes, you are. Don't worry about it. Celebratory donuts then at the end of the race, at the end of a magnificent season. And there, the moment that Sheldon van der Linde crossed the line and won the championship at what's possibly been the most competitive season ever of the DTM. It has been a real thrill ride from start to finish. And Sheldon van der Linde is now going to soak this all up as our brand new champion. Well done, Sheldon. So here then, confirmation of the results. Marco Wittmann, René Rast and Sheldon van der Linde make up the final podium of the season. Marius Sugg with an excellent fourth place finish, and from the back of the field, Kelvin van der Linde comes home in fifth place, with Nico Muller coming home in sixth spot. Time then for the driver and for the team to celebrate, and Kelvin van der Linde runs the entire length of the pit lane to come and pick up his brother and give his younger brother a huge hug and congratulate the new champion.
I'm so proud of him. He did what I couldn't do last year, so I'm happy he could learn something from me. And yeah, for sure tonight we're going to have a couple of drinks and celebrate it, because you know these championships don't come easy, and who knows if there'll be one again. You cannot work like that. So we need to enjoy this one. We did all the work this year as a team, and also for the whole family, a very proud day.
In the Manufacturers' Championship, which also went right down to the wire, Audi having had a 1-point deficit to Mercedes coming into the weekend, and a fantastic final race to wrap up that championship, the 9th Manufacturers' title in DTM for Audi. And their celebrations, Sean van der Linde, himself a touring car champion, his dad and his mom Bernie celebrate with Sheldon van der Linde, who now receives his third place trophy. That would be the best third place trophy he's probably ever had. But the winner's trophy goes to Marco Wittmann, a deserving winner of this final race of the season after a terrific battle. And there you go, 3 champions on the same podium in the final race of the weekend and the final race of the season. Great celebrations then right at the end of the race, treating the crowd to a spectacle. And now the moment he's been waiting for since he was a little boy, all the way from South Africa, the first African champion, the first South African champion ever in the DTM, and his name is Sheldon van der Linde. Outstanding performance, he gets the South African flag, and the emotions will be incredibly high. He's been under enormous pressure, but he sealed the deal. He ends the season with 164 points. Lucas Auer, a noble effort with his best season in the championship, comes home in second. And René Rast, third place. He's been in the top 3 in the championship again.
In the end, you're P2. Wittmann overtook you. There was a lot of drama there, and you're third in the championship. So has it sunk in? I mean, how are you about that? You gave it a all, right?
Yeah. We fought like lions, obviously. We were hoping for a victory, but today we were not competitive enough. So unfortunately, we couldn't achieve that one. But still, we're on the podium. End of the year. P3 is still better than expected before the year. So I'm still happy, obviously, and also happy for Sheldon. I mean, he's a very well-deserved champion. He's a young, quick guy, and has a bright future ahead of him.
And Martin Tomczyk, who looks after the management of DTM these days, himself a DTM champion back in 2011. He knows what it's all about, this. He knows the joy that comes with this moment. And it's he that presents the trophy, the Champions Trophy, to Sheldon van der Linde. An outstanding season amongst the toughest of competition. He's had to dig himself out of a few holes. He's had to stay mentally very strong. And he has managed to come out on top after a tough, but ultimately hugely rewarding weekend of racing here at Hockenheim. And a great team effort as well from Schubert, who've helped give him the equipment to get to this stage.
So, Lucas, you fought so hard, and in the end, you're second in the championship. A little malheur with a thing, but you will get your trophy. So, how does it feel? You were giving it your all.
Yeah, on one side, first of all, congrats to Sheldon, to Schubert, to BMW, amazing job. And my team did a mega job the whole year, but today we just had no speed, 0 speed compared to those guys. And this was a shame, because I would have loved to make even a harder fight, but that's how it is. And next year again.
All right, thank you so much,
Cheers.
Lucas Auer. And now here's your commentator.
Well, great to hear from Lucas Auer, who's been brilliant this year. He gave it his all with those 2 race victories, including the one yesterday. But in the end, it wasn't quite to be enough. The champagne shower for the final time this season, and he will love every last drop of it. Let's hear now from your 2022 champion.
And here is the champion of the DTM 2022. What a roller coaster season in the end, with ups and downs. You did it, you are the champion, and you've got to be absolutely crying for joy.
I'm literally holding it back right now. I have no words. It's like 200 kilograms off my shoulders right now. The whole weekend from Thursday, really just couldn't get any sleep. Was praying that everything would work out. And to have everyone here now celebrating with me, my whole family's here, everyone's here from South Africa, and just really, really emotional. So thanks a lot to everyone supporting back home. Like I said, the support this year has been incredible. And yeah, I want to go party now, man. That's what I want to do.
So that's the end of an outstanding season. Dramatic, explosive, always unpredictable. DTM 2022 has delivered. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of what's been a fantastic season. Thanks very much for watching.